Hey everyone, it's Andrew back again with another video, and today I'm here to do a slasher tag response for Joe, or the Horror Man. And excuse the background noise, I have a pet budgie and he's going off right now, so yeah, if you can hear him in the background I do apologise, but yeah, anyway, back to this video. So the Horror Man, or Joe, recently came up with a slasher tag thread and came up with a bunch of really awesome questions, and he tagged me and I'm here to answer them. So before we get into it, by the way, this is just a copy of Teenage Wasteland, the slasher movie uncut, which is a really awesome book covering the slasher genre. So if you've never checked this one out, I highly recommend it. It's really informative. Talks about a lot of classic slasher movies, including some obscure stuff as well. It pretty much goes back to the pre-slashers, like Psycho and stuff like that, up into all the 80s stuff and some of the more recent stuff as well. So yeah, really good book. Highly recommend it. I think it also goes under the title The Slasher Movie, so yeah, definitely check the book out if you haven't. Anyway, let's get on to this tag. So Joe came up with 8 questions and here are my 8 answers. Okay, so question 1 is, what is your favourite standalone slasher? And this is probably no surprise to anyone, but it is definitely My Bloody Valentine. To me, this is basically the perfect slasher movie. It's got an absolutely fantastic setting. I love the whole Valentine's Day theme that it's centered around. The killer, Harry Warden, you can see him there on the cover in a miner's outfit. It looks absolutely awesome. The characters are really good. I love the small town mining setting as well. Great atmosphere. Some absolutely phenomenal kills. It's got a really high body count as well. So yeah, to me this is basically the perfect 80s slasher movie. So my favourite standalone slasher is definitely My Bloody Valentine. Question 2 is, what is your favourite mask / look? Now I'm going to go with 2 here for this answer, and a few of my answers are going to be multiple answers, by the way, but yeah, I really couldn't decide between these two. I've got to go with Jason Voorhees and obviously Michael Myers. So Jason Voorhees with the hockey mask, it's probably the most iconic slasher character mask out there, and it's a very simplistic mask, but it's extremely effective. I love the fact that there's a lot of different masks within the franchise. You know, as the mask gets damaged over time, the mask look changes a lot from movie to movie. And yeah, very simplistic mask, but it looks absolutely awesome. And I also absolutely love the masks of Michael Myers, obviously. Again, it's a pretty simple looking mask, but it works really well, especially for his character, because it's basically a pale, emotionless looking mask. And that is essentially what Michael Myers is all about. So yeah, I really couldn't decide between these 2 masks, so we're going to go with Jason Voorhees and Michael Myers for this one. Okay, so question 3 was a really tricky one, and I may at some point do a separate video, like my top 10 slasher kills video or something. But anyway, question 3 is, what is your favourite slasher movie kill? So obviously there's some absolutely frigging amazing kills across the slasher genre. It was virtually impossible to pick one. But if I really had to narrow it down to one, it would definitely be the raft scene out of The Burning. Absolutely iconic and classic slasher scene. There's obviously multiple kills within that scene, which I absolutely love. But I just love the whole setup to the scene as well, how they're on the raft, they've discovered a empty canoe, they sort of raft over to the canoe, and then as they get close to the canoe, Cropsy appears, jumps up, great looking image there, and then he just starts basically going to town on these poor innocent campers. The whole scene just looks absolutely incredible. The effects are amazing, so yeah, it's definitely the raft scene from The Burning. But I also wanted to mention a few other ones as well that have definitely stood out to me over the years, ever since I've been into the slasher genre. So, My Bloody Valentine, I absolutely love the pickaxe death through the face and through the eye. That looks really, really awesome. And then Joe also mentioned the one in the shower, how the girl gets her head rammed into the shower head, which looks absolutely insane. It's a very, very nasty looking kill. Hatchet 2 is full of absolutely amazing kills as well. A couple that have always stood out for me is definitely the double chainsaw kill, where the two characters get sliced in half by the rather large chainsaw blade. That looks friggin' awesome. But probably my favourite kill within Hatchet 2 is definitely when Victor Crowley uses the blunt top of the axe and just smashes the guy's face in. That is just such a nasty, vicious looking kill, and it lasts quite a while as well. So yeah, those are a couple of standouts for that. And then I definitely want to mention Dream Home as well, because this movie is just full of completely amazing kills. All the kills look really, really good. Very, very brutal, vicious, and nasty. So, yeah, they're my answers for question 3. Question 4 is, what is your favourite slasher movie setting? For me, very, very easy. It's definitely summer camp or camp settings. They're just an absolutely awesome location. I think you can do so much with them in terms of a slasher film as well, because you can have a ton of characters within the movie. You can have a really, really good variety of deaths as well throughout a summer camp setting. And I just love the whole wilderness outdoor setting in general at camps. So yeah, definitely summer camps are my favourite setting in terms of a slasher film. Question 5 is, who is your favourite final girl in a slasher film? And this was really, really easy for me because I've always had a couple of favourites, so I am going to mention a couple for this question. My all-time favourite is definitely Amy Steele, who plays Ginny in Friday the 13th Part 2. I think she is an exceptional final girl. Right from the get-go, she's a very strong, independent character, and she's just a great character all round. And then, not to mention, she has an absolutely amazing finale. Probably my favourite finale for a final girl within an 80s slasher movie, easily. I love the whole aspect of her disguising herself as Pamela, Jason's mother, obviously, and trying to trick Jason. And the whole shrine thing just looks absolutely awesome. So yeah, it's Amy Steele from Friday the 13th Part 2. But then I also want to give a quick honourable mention to Jamie Lee Curtis or Laurie Strode from Halloween. Now, she's an interesting character, especially in terms of how she grows over the course of the film. She starts off as a very quiet, kind of shy, weak character almost. But then by the end of the movie, she's become a lot more stronger and basically has been able to try and fight for herself. So I really like her character development throughout the entire film, so definitely wanted to mention Laurie Strode or Jamie Lee Curtis as well. Question 6 is, what in your opinion is the most overrated slasher film? There's quite a few, but just going through my collection, one that always has sort of stood out as pretty overrated is definitely The Prowler, also known as Rosemary's Killer. In terms of the death scenes, I really, really like them, but I don't know, there's just, to me, there's a lot of overshot, really, really cheesy scenes within the film, and the majority of the film is kind of boring and slow to me. So yeah, it might have really, really good kills, but the overall movie is not that good in my opinion, and I definitely consider it to be pretty overrated. Okay, so question 7 is, what in your opinion is the most underrated slasher? Two came to mind immediately. We've got an 80s one and a more modern one. The 80s one is definitely Nightmare Beach or Welcome to Spring Break. This is one that I hardly hear anyone ever talk about, and I don't know why. It's really, really good. It came out at the end of the 80s, late 80s, when the slasher genre was dying out, so perhaps that's why. But yeah, this one is really, really good. I love the whole spring break beachside setting. And the killer in this is awesome. He rides a motorbike, so it's very, very unique in that aspect, and pretty much all the kill scenes are centered around him and the bike. So yeah, very, very underrated in my opinion, and pretty unique. Now, in terms of a modern one, I definitely wanted to mention Dream Home. I've mentioned this a lot in previous videos, and for good reason, because it's an absolutely amazing Asian slasher. And it's pretty unique as well, because the killer is a female, and you basically know the killer from the get-go. It's very, very character and story driven. It works really, really well. And the kills are just downright brutal, vicious, very, very gory and nasty. So yeah, Dream Home I think is definitely one of the most underrated modern slashers out there. And question 8 is, what is your favourite gratuitous scene from a slasher film? I'm definitely going to have to go with the shower scene in Pieces. Obviously it features a naked woman getting chopped in half by a chainsaw. Absolutely fantastic kill, and it's really the only thing that I could come up with for this answer. So hopefully that counts. But yeah, we're going to go with that for question 8. Okay, so there you go. That was my tag response to the HORRORman, or Joe, for the slasher tag that's doing the rounds. Thanks again, Joe, for tagging me. I had a lot of fun answering this. Obviously, slashers are my favourite horror genre, so yeah, definitely awesome to be included in this one. Now, in terms of who I'm going to tag, unfortunately, a few people that I was planning to tag have already been tagged, but I will be tagging Retro Horror or Wayne. So Wayne, Retro Horror, you have been tagged. A video response would be absolutely fantastic. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed my tag response, and thank you for watching.